Welcome to Jim's Tiny Ass Kitchen, where I'm going to teach you, yes you, how to make upscale elegant food in a tiny ass kitchen. And I mean tiny, very small. Today, we're gonna make ricotta gnocchi from scratch. Gnocchi started out as a dish that the early Romans used to make. As they were trudging through Europe, kind of taking things over, they introduced this simple pasta. Its base is flour, egg yolks, and usually potato. So we're going outside of the box a bit, and we're gonna do some ricotta cheese. So what you're gonna need is, of course, ricotta cheese, or ricotta, however you wanna say it. It doesn't really matter, it's up to you. Brand specific, really not a big deal. We are going to end up letting it sit into a mesh bowl to hang out, to drain anyway, so any kind you want is fine. Eggs. I'm bringing out 2, maybe we'll only use 1, I'm not sure. We're gonna figure it out as we go along because it's a feel thing, but I'm pretty sure just 1 egg yolk. However, I'm bringing out 2 because better be safe than sorry. Flour, all-purpose flour, it's your friend. This holds 4 cups, it's a quart. Right now we have about I'd say 2 3/4 cup of flour. Will we need all of it? No. So 2 3/4 cup is a good place to start. It's dusting and it's filling, and we're gonna go from there. Parmesan cheese and salt. Now you can use any kind of salt you want. I'm all about the kosher salt. However, I want it to be a little more fine for this. We're also gonna be adding a bit of herbs to it, some fresh herbs. So what I have here in this shaker is Himalayan rock salt. You can see that guy floating around in there. And what's known as butcher salt. So it's rock salt and dried herbs. It's in a crusher so that it's a fine powder when I grind it into the gnocchi. What you first have to do is let the ricotta strain. So you can see some of the water dripping off, but there's water in there. I've let it go. It's been about an hour and a half, 2 hours. This is roughly a pound. You can make a shitload of gnocchi with this. So we'll probably cut it in half. The first thing is to get the water going. I do have water here, I'm gonna turn this on. We need to make our, like the ocean water, I like kosher salt. I don't like iodized salt, that's a personal thing for me. If I want iodine, then there's other ways to get it. And when I say I want it to be like the ocean, like I'm not kidding. When you're like, that might be too much. It's not, just put more in there. All you're really doing is adding more flavor to the water itself, so please, don't be shy. Like the ocean, like the ocean, like the ocean, like the ocean. First things first, we're gonna wash our fucking hands because that's just normal and right. Flour, all-purpose flour. We're just gonna sprinkle across our board here. I'm gonna take this ricotta cheese, flip it over, bam. You have to be very delicate with gnocchi. I mean, very delicate, like extremely delicate. It is a 3-finger on each hand process. With this, you want to make a well in whatever product you're using. Be it potato, be it ricotta, be it whatever we're going to get to later, because there's all sorts of shit you can do with this. It's pretty awesome. So we make a well. We're going to crack our egg. I'm going to use what's known as the industry as a deli cup to separate my eggs, and also for whatever various trash or whatever I need. I'm gonna spill it on the counter because we're in a small apartment and there's not much elbow room. Also, this counter is pretty fucking high, so we're gonna make it work, it's fine. Boom, egg yolk, 1. Now I'm telling by the ratio of this, we definitely have a pound of ricotta cheese. So I'm gonna go with 2 egg yolks. I just wanted to make sure that it binds. The cheese itself is obviously very, very wet, so we wanna incorporate as much binding as we can without too much of the egg yolk. So we're gonna crack 1 more egg. And I'm gonna make more mess because why not? Boom, I'm gonna wash my hands. Now, we have our board lightly dusted. We have our ricotta cheese in a wellish, and we have two egg yolks for 1 pound. I'm gonna add some Parmesan cheese. I'm not gonna use this. I know I grabbed it, but I'm fooling you because I grabbed it by accident. So what we're gonna do is we are going to get our trusty, welcome to the junk drawer, kids, a microplane. This is a microplane. This is great for zesting anything, for doing anything. If you want to add lemon zest to this, which we just might do. So you know what? Let's introduce a new thing, shall we? A lemon. We have a lemon. I'm gonna wash this because even raccoons wash their food. What does that tell you? Trash pandas are smart enough to wash their food. First things first. Parmigiano Reggiano. And we grate liberally. Or we microplane liberally. So, I gave it about, I don't know, what, 15, 20 passes. Now, we're gonna take the lemon that we just washed because why? Even raccoons wash their food. I've seen some people zest like this. Don't do that. You want to zest down because we want the zest to get into the dough. We're looking for the essential oils of the lemon itself to get inside of the pasta. Now that we're all zested up and ready to go, we're gonna add our salt. So we're just gonna that was 21 grains. I counted just because I didn't count last time. So 21. Is it right? Fuck, I don't know, but we're gonna find out together. So what we do next is move our shells out of the way. We are just going to dust some flour on top. I mean, now we're looking at maybe that was just over 1/4 cup of flour. Bench scraper. We're gonna slowly scoop under and fold over. Look at that yolk. You see it start to break a bit, kind of running down. That's what you want. We're not mixing anything. We're gonna let it break naturally. We're gonna let it fold and come together naturally. I'm gonna come from behind and I'm gonna fold it over again. Oh yeah, look at that. You see this little runoff over here? That's what you're going for. I'm just gonna come back over here from the back and then fold it over. I like how the yolk oozes out just a bit right here. I mean, like, talk about egg yolk porn. It's fresh. Like, we're all about fresh. I'm gonna fold this in. Now, as I look at myself, I'm sure you're asking the same question that I am now asking myself. Why the f am I wearing black when dealing with flour? It just shows that I'm working hard. All right, we're gonna set this down here. 3 fingers. All we're using is 3. I'm doing it like this. It's a weird Spock move, but we're doing it. It's like a f***ed up Spock. And we're just gonna fold, nice and easy, right? Yeah, look at that. 6 fingers is all you want for this. And now it's just a matter of feeling it. It's gonna get wet. You're gonna bring some of this other flour in. Traditional pasta, you wanna be very, very aggressive with it. When it comes to gnocchi, you wanna be very gentle. Normally when you're cooking, you use a dry hand and a wet hand. When you're making homemade gnocchi, they're all wet hands. There's no dry hand, wet hand. They're all wet until they're not. How do you know if you need to add more flour or not? Well, when it looks like this, and it's all over your fingers like this, you need to add more flour. So I'm just gonna scrape everything off. Obviously, at this point, it's also not kneaded as well as it should be. And I mean, like, it's needed because we all need gnocchi in our life, right? It's delicious, but it's not kneaded with a K-in as well as it needs to be at this point. So we're just gonna put some more in. Now we will get to the point, oh, we're starting to come together. All right, we will get to the point where I'll show you how you know it's done. There's a lot less flour in this recipe than you would imagine. With pasta, it's literally a well of flour. With this, it's more about the product that's involved. You are going to tend to use more flour when it comes to cheese gnocchi, when it comes to potato or sweet potato, which we'll get to later. Then there tends to be a lot less flour involved. So now we're starting to get somewhere. So now it starts to come together. It's not constantly sticking on my hands. I'm going to scrape all the excess off because all that is delicious goodness. So I'm going to pick the dough up. Yep, that's right, pick it up. I'm going to redust. I know there's still flour on there. And we're going to turn this guy over. I'm going to hit it with just a little bit more flour on top because we are just about there, kids. I promise you. We are just about there. 3 finger, I know I got aggressive with 4 fingers, but we're gonna go back to the 3 finger method. I apologize for that. So here we go. All right, it's just starting to come together. You want it to just come together. Now, if you have flour left over, that's all right. That's all right, there's nothing wrong with that. See, it's starting to form itself. It's not just an amalgamated mess of whatever the fuck it was, of cheese and egg and, you know, Parmesan and salt. Now it's becoming a dough. It may not look like much now. You see that? All the crests and the hills and the valleys and the hollers if you're from the South. But we're starting to get somewhere. And I think that we're right where we need to be with the flour content. So what I'm doing is I'm gently putting it to bed. I'm folding it and I'm tucking it into bed. We're just go to sleep, little dough. It's time to rest your gluten. I'm going to clean my hands so that I can show you how to test this gnocchi to make sure that we're right where we need to be. Because if it's not where we need to be, we have to add more flour. But I think we're pretty good because it's coming together. It's not sticky on top, which is what you want. It's not sticky on the bottom because we put a base down. So I think where we need to be. Hand washing time. And we're back. All right, so we have our dough. Look at her. She's pretty. The best way to tell if your dough is ready is to cut into it. So we're just gonna take our bench scraper. I'm gonna pull it off, roll it out. Now, with a dry knuckle, with a dry hand, pick up your beautiful dough that you just made, and then we press it to the back of our dry knuckle. If you get just a little bit of dough on there, so it's still a little sticky, but not completely dry, with a little bit on your finger, then you're good to go. That means that we're ready to roll. I love to be ready to roll. So now I'm gonna re-crank up my heat because I want the water to be ready to go. I'm gonna clear all of this shit off so I can make room for the pan that we're going to put our rolled and ready to be cooked gnocchi on. What I'm gonna do here is I'm going to take some of my flour. I'm just gonna lightly dust this guy right here. Now what we're doing is we're preventing our freshly made, gorgeous gnocchi from sticking to itself and to the bottom of the pan. I need to give myself room to work, right? So I'm just gonna gently move this beautiful mass of awesomeness right here. Wipe your board, and then all-purpose flour, just lightly dusted. You have to make that sound, by the way. You have to. Just gonna roll this guy out. Now, the size of your gnocchi depends on how big you like your gnocchi. I like them to be bite-sized pieces, so we're not gonna go too big with it. I'm going to try to find the halfway mark and just pop it in half. Now, they're not perfectly round, they're not perfectly cylindrical, and that is okay. If you're looking at your pinky, depending on how big your hand is, I guess, you wanna go about the first knuckle. So, we're gonna go right about here. Boom, boom, boom. Now, are they all perfect sizes? Are they all exactly the same? No, that's a good thing. That shows that they're homemade. This is not that frozen, boxed horse shit that you buy in the fucking aisle at one of these big, wherever you wanna buy shit, right? This is down and dirty, homemade shit in Jim's tiny ass kitchen. You wanna mix them up. Get them in flour, coat them individually. Otherwise they'll stick. That's not what you want. When it goes in the water, you don't want it to stick. So we want them to be groovy. We're gonna flour them up. We're gonna let them be groovy. We're gonna take some of our flour. We're gonna put it on our gnocchi board. You wanna place your dumpling at the top of the board. You want to use your thumb, back corner, gently press and roll. And then just tilt that bad boy and let it roll right off. That is some pretty stuff right there. What we're doing is not only are we achieving a pocket for sauce, but we're achieving grooves for sauce. Up top, roll it down, pow. Maybe you're saying, Jim, I don't have a fucking gnocchi board. So what should I do if I don't have a fucking gnocchi board? Well, what you could do and what you should do, and what I have done numerous times, is use a fork. What we're gonna do is we're gonna hold it thusly. Set it at the back of the fork. Thumb, corner of the thumb, the back round part of the gnocchi, and gently roll. I'm gonna go a bit deeper with this one. So I'm pushing down, not until I feel the tines of the fork, but just enough. I'm gonna roll it down, and now it gets all weird and funky. I'm gonna use this guy right here. We're gonna lift it up. Look at that. You got a big old bowl. All right, it's not a big old bowl, but it's a bowl. I mean, it's a pocket. And still, you have these nice grooves. So I'm gonna finish off this, and then we're going to cook it off. We have our completed gnocchi. Now, I haven't rolled all of it out, but that's okay. We're doing it for y'all. So you would do all of this. In our boiling water, which we have, that tastes like the ocean, I'm just gonna make sure. So I'm going to take a very small spoon. Oh, yeah, that's pretty good. It's more like the Dead Sea, which is what you're going for. All right. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to shake off the excess flour. We're gonna gently drop in. What we're looking for is, as soon as the gnocchi float, it's done. That's when we take our spider, not an actual spider. I'm gonna gently move it around. We're not floating yet, but we're getting there. As they start to float, just before they do, we are going to switch out. We are going to add olive oil to our pan. They're starting to float. They're starting to float. Here we go. Boom. You're done. That's it. Catch the ones that float, pull them out. If you don't have a spider, use this guy right here. All you need is a slotted spoon. We're out. We're done. That's it. This guy did not want to get on board, but he is now. We're gonna mix it around. Again, you have to make the sound because they will definitely stick together if you don't. We're going to bring out our saute pan. It's time to cook, kids. It's time to do shit with this beautiful ricotta gnocchi that you just made by hand. And your people are gonna be fucking blown away that you made all this in a tiny ass kitchen. Now, at this point, we are going to bring in butter. Butter is delicious. Unsalted. You can't really control your salt level if you use butter with salt in it after cooking your pasta with salt in it. So, we are using unsalted butter. I'm telling you right now, never fucking use margarine. Never use margarine. Never. It's fucking terrible. It's real bad for you. They add all this fucking oil, fucking saturated, polyunsaturated horseshit. It's just a bad scene. Don't do it. Use butter. We're gonna turn this bad boy on. I have to use a lighter for my stove because we're in a tiny ass kitchen. And it's an apartment, so shit happens. So we're gonna put this guy right here, and then we're gonna let it do its thing. Now, I'm gonna put this butter on a low heat. I'm gonna let it slowly melt. Now, while I'm letting it melt, I'm going to chop my herbs because we need more than just butter in this. Like, it needs to have herbs, fresh herbs. So I'm gonna do sage. Now, you can add, if you want to, some sort of nut. I love hazelnuts. Do I have hazelnuts currently in this tiny ass apartment right now? No, but we're using Ricotta almonds. The most delicious of all the almonds. The butter is doing its thing. I'm going to switch out boards. Remember, always clean as you go. So let's just take a few seconds here. It's really not that hard. Cleanish board. As our butter is doing its thing, butter, we are going to break out some sage. First, I want to toast my nuts. My Ricotta almonds. For what we're doing, I'm gonna do a little handful. All you want is a rough chop. You need bites, individual bites. You want small pieces to get into your pasta. So we're just gonna, you see how I'm holding the knife and not sticking my shit out everywhere? I'm going real slow for the camera. Otherwise, this should have been done a long time ago. I'm gonna look at you while I'm cutting because I can do that shit. see that? Look at me. I don't know what's happening right now. I'm not sure. But I'm moving shit around and I'm cutting. That's about where we want it. I'm gonna take these and add them to my butter. All right, we're gonna swirl this guy around here. You see it going? Oh yeah. So almost immediately it's starting to toast up. You can hear it go. Now we're on low heat right now. I went on low heat to get it going while I was chopping that and talking to y'all. So medium low is probably where you wanna go. Now there's different ways that you can peel or do anything with these herbs. I just kind of rip and tear any long stems you don't really want. Pull that shit off, so each individual leaves are fine. Sage is very aroma, it's unctuous, it's been used in cooking, cuisine all over the world for years. And it's lovely and absolutely fucking awesome. Fucking awesome. All right, I'm gonna chiffonade. Chiffonade is just quick slices. Boom, and it goes. I'm gonna crank this bad boy up to high. What I'm doing now, oh, you hear that? Oh God, that sounds amazing. All right, that's what you want. So we're starting to get brown butter. Now we're cooking the oils out of the sage. It's starting to get some flavor, some unctuousness. That's what we're going for. I am going to take my bare hands because I washed them and they're clean, and I'm going to just push these guys gently into the pan and then drop it on the stove because we're only human, and this is, after all, Jim's tiny kitchen. Here we go. Oh, that's the good stuff right there. We're gonna toss it up. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Let it cook, let it sit, let it marinate. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to add salt, kosher salt. We're doing enough to taste. So that was maybe 1/4 tablespoon. I'm gonna try it. Again, you have to remember that the water is salty, that we salted the pasta, and the Ricotta almonds also have salt in them. So we don't wanna get too egregious with the salt. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Oh, now we're getting somewhere. Okie dokie. So this has been cooking for about a minute. We can see that there's slight color on the gnocchi. The almonds are getting brown, and that aroma of the sage is just stupid fucking good, man. It's like ridiculously fucking awesome. We're gonna cook this for no more than 2 minutes. No more than 2 minutes. We got about 30 seconds more, and then we're going to plate it in something. Let's do it in this cute little white bowl here. So, I love Fiesta ware. I've been eating off of it for years. We got about 10 more seconds, give or take. Do a little dance, make a little love, have some bourbon. We're gonna go back to the spoon. Let's taste one. It's gonna be hot as fuck, so we're just gonna give it a little. Not no. Wake up. All right. Okay. Ooh. It's hot as shit, but it's good. Boom. Okay. I am going to give you some more love right now. Just almonds. Finish it off. I'm gonna hit it with a touch of Maldon sea salt, also known as flake salt. Larger crystals, we can go into a salt thing later again. I have 1,000 different kinds of salt because I'm a fucking nerd like that. So I'm gonna finish it with that just because it makes it better. And just like that, we have ricotta cheese gnocchi. Put that in your fucking mouth hole and chew on it for a bit. Well, I guess we should give it a try. I mean, there's nothing else left to do. So here we go. Get some of those almonds, get some of that sage, all that unctuous, gorgeous brown butter. You know, I may have just outdone myself here. I mean, again, I've made this 1,000 times. I think this is the best one yet. So if you like what you saw here, by all means, please subscribe, say hello, shoot off a DM, keep them clean. So thank you again from Jim's tiny ass kitchen. Please come back. Let's do more.